there, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, then it's great to have you, and if you're not new here and you've seen my other videos, then thank you so much for coming back. It's great to have you as well. In today's video, I just wanted to talk about being pregnant during lockdown and during coronavirus, and give you a little bit of advice that I've been given about my pregnancy, and talk about some of my experiences, and also just talk about ways in which you can still share the joy of being pregnant with those that you care about, so with your family and friends. I know it can be really hard if you're having to self-isolate and you're not able to see your friends and family, and you want to be able to share your joy. So if you're interested in how you can still do that from self-isolating at home, then please watch until the end of the video. But for now, I'm just going to focus on some of the main important points that are probably really helpful to know if you're pregnant and a bit anxious. So I want to start off by saying, please try not to panic. I know that can be quite difficult, and it's perfectly understandable if you are feeling anxious. The main thing really is just to remember to try and stay healthy and in a positive mindset, both you and your baby. Obviously, if you are feeling anxious, then the best thing to do is just to contact your midwife and maybe your GP, and they can give you a lot more advice and support. Even though you don't know much about this virus, some government bodies have said that pregnant women aren't supposedly at more risk than anybody else. The isolation period is purely just to reduce risk, just because we don't know much about the virus. Of course, that means that you should still be taking extra care to wash your hands whenever you can, and as frequently as you can, hot water and soap. Obviously trying to keep a clean living space, make sure that you disinfect surfaces, making sure that you try to use separate towels, separate cutlery to people living with you. And if you are extremely anxious, or if your partner's having to go to work and is exposed a lot more to the public, then possibly go about setting up different sleeping arrangements. It's finding whatever works for you in your household, but those are some key notes to remember. So try not to stress too much. Obviously, if you do have other health complications, then you'll have already been given some advice by your midwife and your GP anyway, so just follow whatever advice they give you. But otherwise, if you're of relative health and you don't have any other issues, and you've either recently found out you're pregnant or you're late on in your pregnancy like me, then just try to stay calm and just continue eating healthily, getting exercise, calming your mind, because it will make your life a lot easier. It's also critical to remember to take your antenatal vitamins. So that's the first one, so just try not to panic too much. Second of all, make sure you attend your antenatal appointments. Again, I know even if you're self-isolating at home like me, or you're just scared of going out in public, that's perfectly understandable, but your antenatal appointments are really, really important, especially if you don't suspect that you're ill yourself. Antenatal appointments, regardless of what stage you are in pregnancy, are a really good way of monitoring your health and monitoring your baby's health. And also, just speaking from my experiences, midwives and healthcare professionals are extremely considerate of your worries, and they're doing everything that they can to reduce the risk to you and to your baby. So I know at all of my appointments recently, they've all been wearing gloves, they've all been wearing masks, and extra measures have been put in place to ensure that you can enter the maternity ward directly instead of having to walk to the main hospital when and where that's possible, and also the fact that waiting rooms and stuff have been kept clear. And on that note, I just want to say as well, if you are able to attend your appointments alone, then please do so. Maybe consider leaving your partners in the car if that is possible, just because it saves exposing the healthcare professionals to more people than they need to be exposed to. And it also means that both for yourself and for other pregnant ladies, rooms are filled with as few people as possible to reduce the risk for everybody. So if your partners can stay in the car, then that's great, unless you're told otherwise. The main exemptions to the rule may be if you're having a consultation. I know that when we were in the process of having a growth scan for my baby, because they were concerned about the growth of some of her bones, that even though my partner wasn't allowed in the most recent scans, he was allowed to come into the consultation just to find out what was happening. But that's why it's really important to phone the hospital or your local birthing centre or your midwife, find out what they'd like you to do and take the advice directly from them, because every place operates slightly differently. Some places may or may not be harsher on the rules. And going from that point as well, if you are going to scans and you're upset that your partner can't be there with you, or that a friend can't be there with you, then again, try and phone up these places in advance and see if it's possible to maybe live stream the scan so that your partner can still experience it with you. But yeah, just make sure you speak to the relevant department first and then see what you can and cannot do. And just remember, guys, that ultimately all of these precautions are being put in place to keep you and your baby safe and the healthcare professionals safe and those around you. So just try and look at it in that way, and this pandemic isn't going to last forever, so as long as we all just keep that in mind. And on that note as well, in terms of going to your appointments, if you do suspect that you are unwell, all of the official advice is online, and I'll be providing links down below for government advice and for links to the websites that I've been using to get some of this information for you guys. But if you do suspect that you're unwell, make sure you let your midwives know, especially if you're due to be going to any appointments, and they can tell you exactly what they want you to do. But in most cases, if you do suspect that you're unwell, you'll probably be advised not to go to big hospitals or maternity triage centres unless it's absolutely necessary. And if you are advised to go there, then just try and get there by private transport to, again, reduce the risk to people around you, and again, try to leave partners at home. And also, if you are asked to attend and you still think you're ill, you'll probably be asked to alert a member of staff who's expecting you when you arrive there, so that then measures can be put in place. Again, I'm just taking this advice from some of the websites that I've linked down below, but the main thing is to remember that every birth centres and hospitals will operate slightly differently around the country, so speak to your midwife and your GP and your relevant hospital and see what they'd like you to do. I'm going to be addressing some points that some of you may be concerned about. For me, for the last few months I've been having growth scans every other week, until recently when we found out that thankfully our baby is growing absolutely fine and she's perfectly healthy. She's just slightly on the small side. It just took her a while to get up to the growth that she needed to be at, but thankfully she's all well and good. But because of that, at some point we were asked to go to the Fetal Medicine Unit in Cardiff. That's a much bigger hospital, so I was definitely anxious about going with the current pandemic going on. Just sharing my experience with you guys in case any of you are having to go through a similar thing, or if you've got appointments coming up that you're worried about. I just want to reassure you in saying that the hospital staff were extremely professional, and there are a lot of measures in place to reduce the risk of the spread of the coronavirus. So before we were allowed to enter, we were given a screening test where our temperatures were taken. We were asked some questions concerning our health in the last few days and any symptoms that we possibly had, and we were only allowed to enter once they realised that our temperature was fine and that we didn't suspect that we had any symptoms. Only one person was allowed in with me, so that was my partner, but he was asked to wait in a separate waiting area whilst I went in and had the scans. Again, this was just to limit the amount of people that could be in certain wards at certain times, and all of the healthcare professionals were wearing masks, were wearing gloves, but they were still extremely attentive and extremely considerate of my needs, and I didn't feel like I experienced a decline in the care from them at all. I still felt extremely well cared for and listened to, and I didn't feel rushed. So if those are things that you're worried about, or if maybe you're anxious about not receiving the same level of treatment, please don't worry. At least from my experiences, I've still had extremely positive experiences whilst being in hospitals and whilst being quite anxious. This is just where I want to say that if you are experiencing anxiety, I mean, anxieties are typical during pregnancy anyway, especially if you suffered maybe from anxiety before pregnancy, or if other people in your family have a history of mental health issues. So if you are feeling anxious, again, the main thing is just to tell somebody as soon as possible. Communicate openly with the people around you. If you're living with a partner or a friend or family, tell them and express your concerns to them, and most importantly, tell your midwife and tell your GP. They may be able to offer you a prescription for some medication that might help you, or they might be able to offer you some other advice as well. And on that note as well, if you're feeling a bit down or a bit worried because you haven't been able to attend the antenatal classes that you're planning on attending, this is again where getting in touch with your local hospital or birthing centre is really, really good as well. So I know that for me, my local birthing centre and the hospital where I plan to give birth, both of those have the videos online for antenatal support, so whether that's support for learning how to breastfeed and a correct latch, or whether it's antenatal yoga. There are various support services online, and also I found that following the birth centre and the hospital on social media such as Facebook, it's also been really informative for keeping me up to date with the current regulations that apply to both my relevant birth centre and the hospital where I plan to give birth. It's just the best way to keep up to date with changes that are being made. So for example, a recent one for me is the hospital where I was having my growth scans. Their antenatal ward is now only being used by paediatricians to see children children, and so the antenatal team have been moved to a different part of the hospital. So where you wait for your appointments and where you check in has changed slightly, and I was made aware of this on the Facebook page, so that was really helpful to know. Another thing as well is that I know in my hospital water births aren't being allowed at the moment, so thankfully I didn't want a water birth anyway, but it was quite useful to know that in advance. If you are planning on having a water birth, definitely check with wherever you're planning to give birth and see what is and isn't being allowed. And on the note of giving birth as well, this is where I just want to say that you are still allowed one birth partner with you, which was really reassuring for me to hear, so know that my partner can still come in with me. If you have any complications during pregnant birth, or if you know that you're going to be having a C-section, then bear in mind that after the procedure your partner may not be able to stay with you for as long as would typically be allowed, so definitely just mentally prepare yourself for that in advance. And again, just double check with your midwife and healthcare professionals, because they'll be able to tell you the information you need. I'm just going for information that I've been given myself because I'm due to give birth in 2 weeks, which is insane to think about. It's gone ever so quickly. I'd love to hear about how your pregnancy journey's been so far, so let me know in the comments below what your experiences have been, what's been good, what's been bad. Like and subscribe to my channel and click the bell icon so that you can stay updated next time I upload a new video. Okay, so another point that I think is really important to make, take the time to enjoy your pregnancy. If you are working at home or if you're on maternity leave, put your mind in the calm state is that you can enjoy your pregnancy, because at the end of the day you're only pregnant for 9 months, and once it's gone, it's gone. So just try and take this time to just embrace being pregnant as well. I know everybody experiences pregnancy differently. Maybe you've had some really bad side effects, or maybe pregnancy it doesn't work for you. Some women love being pregnant, some women don't. I've quite enjoyed it because my side effects haven't been too severe, but I'll be talking about that in a different video anyway. But besides the growth scans and the initial anxiety, I've really enjoyed being pregnant. But yeah, everyone's is different, but just try and make sure that you enjoy this time if possible. So ways that you can do this are just trying to stay busy. So if you are at home, then try and organise your home, get it ready for your baby, make it comfortable for you and your partner. Another great way to enjoy pregnancy from home is by scrapbooking. So I have 2 different books, one that focuses mainly on the journey of pregnancy, and then I have another book that I aim to fill out once I've given birth, so from birth onwards. But scrapbooking can be a great way to make a note of your thoughts and feelings during this time. It is a very unique time. I mean, we're pregnant during a global pandemic, so I don't think any of us could have predicted that. So just make a note of some of the thoughts and feelings that you've been having, because whilst it's all very real and very scary right now, in a few years' time you might actually enjoy looking back and reading on some of the thoughts and feelings that you had. And it might also just be interesting for you to be able to share them with your child when they're older as well, if they're interested in that. So definitely try and keep a journal. It's also a nice place where you can keep a note of when you guys felt your baby kick and what some of your side effects were, what things worked for you in pregnancy, what things didn't, maybe what things shocked you. And also it can be a great way to remind you to discuss openly with your partner or with whoever you're living with, if you're living with someone else. It can be a great platform for open discussions and where you can make a note of their experiences as well. I mean, remember, even though you are the pregnant one, you're on good terms with your partner. Remember that your partner's going through this as well, and that it's a very strange time for them too. And they've probably got their own worries as well and their own expectations. So just communicate with each other so that you can both be on the same page in terms of what's working, what isn't, what you're both worried about, what you're both excited about, and ways in which you both want to be able to prepare to bring your child into the world. At an exercise ball, you've probably heard this already, or you've seen different people talking about them, but for me, I found that an exercise ball is really helpful for loosening up your hips, and also for later on in pregnancy. It can be used as a great way to help engage your baby's head in the pelvis and to hopefully get your baby in the right orientation ready for birth. So yeah, there are plenty of videos online for you to learn about that. That's just a tip from me as well. Make sure when you are getting an exercise ball that you get one that's right for your height. So look online and make sure that you get the right exercise ball for your height, so that you're sitting at the right angle, just so that you don't risk hurting yourself. Another tip for enjoying pregnancy at home is to video chat your friends and family, and to also take regular pictures and videos. If you are getting a bit down because you feel like you're missing out on sharing the joy of being pregnant with those that you care about, then take pictures, take videos, share them with your family and friends. Maybe keep a logbook so that you can see the progress yourself and so that you can show other people later. I've found that that's something that I happen to really enjoy. It's just nice to have that to look on and to be able to see how your body's changed and how your baby's gotten bigger. From my experience, friends and family really love seeing that sort of stuff. Video chatting as well, it's just a good way to keep your head in a good mental space and to remind yourself of why you're staying at home and not going out and seeing friends and family. You know, reminding yourself that whilst it may be very tempting, this is best for them and it's best for you, and this isn't going to last forever and you will get to see them soon. And on that note as well, if you have recently given birth, or if you're due to give birth in a few weeks like me, try not to get too upset about the possibility that family and friends won't be able to see your baby straight away. I know that that was something that I mentally and emotionally struggled with for quite a while, because it got me quite down, and especially because I know that my friends and family are really excited to meet her. But just remember that this isn't going to last forever, and if you live near family and friends as well, when they're going on their walk, they walk past your house, you can always hold the baby up to the window. Or again, technology nowadays means that it's a lot easier to share some of these first moments with everybody else. I know it's not the same, but it's just about learning to adapt in the current situation and doing what's safe and what's right. So yeah. Another point I'd like to make, guys, is try downloading a pregnancy app. So for me, I've been using the app Pregnancy Plus. This isn't sponsored, by the way. This is just an app that I was recommended to download by my partner's sister, who recently had a baby as well. It has just really added to my whole pregnancy journey. It has some great daily articles, and every week you get a little update about a rough indication of where your baby is in their development. There's also a really cute feature of comparing your baby's size to a fruit. Obviously they're just rough guidelines, so my baby's on the small size, so I know that she's not at the predicted lengths and weight that the app says. But yeah, the app's just a really fun way to kind of track your pregnancy journey step by step, and be a fun way for your family and friends to feel more involved with the pregnancy as well, because it's something that you can share with them. So yeah, let me know in the comments down below if you've tried the same app as me, or if you've tried a different app, and what your experiences were and whether you recommend it. I'd love to hear from you guys. Another fun idea that you might like to try is getting a home casting kit. We were bought one for our baby shower, and I plan to use it to make casts of our baby's hands and feet when she's born and when it's safe to do so. But these are just cute little ideas that you might like to try. And on that note, making personalised gifts with some of the scanned photos that you have may be a great way for you to look back on pregnancy, and also to share your pregnancy with your friends and family. So whether that's a customised mug or a postcard, there are so many different ways that you could do things nowadays. Okay guys, so I think I've covered everything I wanted to today about how to cope with pregnancy during a pandemic, what you need to know, and also just some little tips from my own pregnancy experience. If you found this video helpful and informative at all, then please don't forget to like and subscribe, and to leave me a comment down below, and hit the bell icon so that you can stay notified next time I upload a new video. If you'd like to follow me on my new Instagram, then my username is as displayed on the screen. I'll also be putting the details in the description below as well, next to the links that I've been using for this video. If there's anything that I missed that you guys would like me to discuss further, then please let me know. But otherwise, it was great talking to you guys. Thank you so much for checking out this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!